Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV. Now, it's been a while since this content came out. I will just, preface that, but I thought it would be a really cool idea if we actually looked at some of the data log entries in the archives for the new nier raids. So, it's been a while since Copied Factory's been out. In fact, we've got an entirely new Alliance raid, as in the Puppet's Bunker since then, but we just completely didn't read any of the archive stuff, or at least I didn't. Which is why I wanted to make this video. So A, it gives me an excuse to read through them, and B, it gives you a way of listening to them if you perhaps don't want to read them yourself. So if you're unfamiliar with this, under the duty section, you'll find collection. We've dragged this to our bars here. Under collection, you'll find the portable archive. This is part of the storyline. You unlock it when you start doing the nier raids themselves. You click it, you get this beautiful animated... Look, I love this. I love this. So if you've ever played Nier Automata, then you would know all about that. So this is the archive section. We've gone around and we've managed to get all of the archive stuff as far as I've done on a checklist to make sure I've got them all. I thought it would be a cool idea to read this bit, go inside, have a look at some more terrain, read a bit more, and we'll probably end up doing 2 videos because of the 2 separate instances. That's probably how this will work. So without further ado, let's look at the Copied Factory first, and let's read the Unidentified Expedition Log number 1. Survey of local terrain continues. Ecosystem in this area appears to have adapted to extended drought. Dry climate conditions must have been present for some time. Investigation of a murky spring did reveal aquatic life, though of an unusual sort. So let's go inside the factory. So this is a, there's like a little spring in here. Interesting. Interesting. So obviously we're looking at like this area here. So probably like the springs down there, but it's quite a dry climate. Yes, I love the way that they've sort of put the Nier world into 14, and it makes perfect sense. Obviously, it's not the actual Nier world. It's like 14's adaptation and version of it. That's how they fit this into the storyline, isn't it? What a fantastic place this was, though. I remember when we first came in here, it was just, just massive nostalgia hits. I've not completed Nier Automata, or Automata, as people like to pronounce it sometimes. But that's something on my to-do list. I've cleared like a couple of the routes, but if you know anything about Nier, basically you have multiple endings. So let's continue inwards then, because I believe the first entry was like out here. So let's get on that portable archive again. Again, this format, I don't know if it's the best way of doing it, but it gives me an idea of just doing it casually. Unidentified Expedition Log 2. The survey of local terrain continues. Current location is particularly verdant, likely owing to the plethora of freshwater springs. Peculiar that 2 so markedly distinct biomes should exist in such proximity. Yeah, it's true. Well, it's not that peculiar, really, is it? I don't know. You have transition areas between areas of landscape, don't you? Every time someone says biome, though, I think of Minecraft. Let's see what else have we got here. Number 3. Survey of local terrain still continues, though with no discoveries of particular note, or perhaps I've grown tired of searching. Still, it's better to be stuck in the middle of nowhere than on the front lines. Here we go. So we've got reference to the front lines. Let's see here. Memory of a damaged machine. I think we get this somewhere in here, or just past it. Oh, brother, where art thou? It's dark. I'm alone, all alone and lonely. I want friends. Don't stop me. I'll kill you. I need friends. So yeah, it's always a little bit like almost bipolar, some of the dialogue, isn't it, in the Nier games? It was quite fascinating to see how this stuff was thought up. So then we've got a machine research report, and we've got 2 of these. It says, the machine's primary objective seems to be nothing more than kill enemy. What's troubling, though, is that their auto-evolution systems have begun to build a private network. They're taking over. They're adapting. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, yeah, the pods are awesome. I love these. Whee! We jump down. I think this place looks absolutely incredible, doesn't it? They could spend hours just staring at this stuff. My favorite stuff more recently is they've added the factory set of housing items. So you have like girders and frames and grates and grills and like these actual girders you can have, and these grates are in the housing as well. We'll have to do a video at some point looking at those. Do like a follow-up. That looks cool with a setting sun there. Yeah, if you've never played the Nier games, I would definitely recommend Automata or Automata. It's a fantastic game. It will blow your mind in ways you didn't think possible. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't really want to play a game because like they saw like a clip of it with the shooter stuff. It's not all that. That's all I'll say. There's plenty of different forms of gameplay in that game. There's even like platforming sections and puzzle sections, and there's fishing, and there you go. All sorts of things. Let's see, what's next then? So we're on the machine one, weren't we? This was this one. It says, Machine Research Report 2. The machine's network has evolved to the point where paradoxes no longer present an obstacle, allowing for diversity among individuals. They may continue to incorporate whatever data is within reach. Someday, the world in its entirety. Lovely. And we've got these weapon data fragments. Let's look at these. It says, the blade is in motion, once gleaming white, drenched red, a blow to halt the twin gear's life and death, its impetus long forgotten. So this is talking about all of the weaponry with the big blades that are spinning. It's almost poetic, isn't it? I think it's designed to be poetic. But yes, it's nevertheless horrific. I do love this dungeon, though. We should have done this a long time ago, but I love just walking through here. How eerie this part is as well, with all of the 2Bs just smashed to pieces, all of the androids. It's, I don't know, when I first saw this, I was like, wow, this is quite dark, isn't it? A lot dark, not just quite dark. Let's continue down here then, because we're supposed to be looking at them down here at this point. Let's see. Weapon fragment data number 2. Our world never doubted, only closed its eyes, the better to turn unburdened. All right, let's go to passage 4. It's such a cool instance. And again, if you're new to the game and you're just about to step into this stuff, hopefully you're not watching this video, but yeah, maybe you've just completed it. But you never really get to appreciate stuff in its speed as people, leg it through here and do the bosses back to back. But it's really nice to be able to just come in here on your own to an instance version and just chill. There's all sorts of little secrets and, bits and pieces. I love the vending machines basically as the passage. I think that's fantastic. And a lot of the weapon ones were actually found in this part as well, in the actual factory itself. Yeah, it's fantastic. There's all little nooks and crannies. This is where you would find another one of them, one of the storage crates for the artifacts. It's fantastic. I don't think there's ever been quite as an immersive looking instance in terms of like detail. Like the Ivalice series was fantastic, but I think they've maybe topped it with this. I really do think this is probably one of the best series of Alliance raids we've had. Look at this big room for the boss. Oh, it's so cool. Let's read another entry whilst we're here, actually. What are we up to? Number 3. In that world we once knew, sharp and shattered, a single spark of memory grows to a flame. It shines upon the lost, and at last we understand. Yes. That's very Dark Souls almost, isn't it, actually? With a flame of life. Very, very cool. Very cool. Right, let's get to Zone 5 then. But yeah, when you walk around here, if you want to get the archives, there's guides on the internet, but what I would recommend is just exploring every nook and cranny. It's very rewarding just to come in here and explore and try and find more archives yourself. That's the best way of doing it, instead of collecting them all and going back in here like I am. I think for future ones, we might do a live video where we just read them as we walk around. So this is where we fought Engels. There's still like some fallout from that, as you can tell. all of this ash or whatever it is falling from the sky. It's so cool, isn't it? Like this, look, with all the robots smashed to pieces and the elevators and stuff. And, man, it doesn't get old for me. It really doesn't. This sort of aesthetic is just beautiful. Right, let's read another angles, because we can't actually go past this point. I forgot about this. So as much as usually you'd hop platforms, that's not possible. There's no pods. So yes, unfortunately we can't progress any further, but what a beautiful view. All right, let's read the last couple then of this place. And then we have, where is it? Weapon Fragment Data 4. Rue not what has come to be, nor lay down your arms while life still rises amidst ruin. The blade demands this vow, this virtue. And we have Tatted Flyer as the last item. Thanks for ... by ... It's a thriving chain of ... So including swords that match the regional features and squads of. And there you go. It's just a Tatted Flyer. So yeah, Yokotaro, Yosuke Saito. I don't really, even though I've read these now because I hadn't read them before, there's a lot of poetry in this and a lot of like little hints and, you know, sort of references to Nier. But at the same time, it's just bananas, isn't it? It's just completely bananas. And that's why I love it, because it doesn't have to make that much sense. So how long have we been in here? Not too long. We'll do it in one video. We'll do Puppet's Bunker next, because I quite enjoyed this. And we'll just cut it together. Boop. But yeah, I forgot to mention it earlier. If anybody does actually want to just go back in the instances, you can just come over to Colucia, and you'll see that the Puppet's Bunker and, of course, the Copied Factory have two separate instance entrances, and you can totally just get straight to them. So this isn't like using any crazy methods or anything. You can just walk straight into them. There's the entrance to the dungeon where you would queue, but if you click on the Puppet's entrance instead, for example, you can go straight into the bunker. I know a lot of people probably already know this, as you're encouraged to go back in and get the archives, but it might be surprising to some of you. Anyway, this one is definitely the most visually impressive of the two, I think. Although, I think the Copied Factory had its own little niche of how beautiful it was. But when we first went into this in patch 5.3, I was blown away, honestly. All of these, like, smashed pieces of the space station, you know. The command station. It's fantastic. It really is fantastic. Anyway, let's get cracking, Lynn. Let's get towards our pod. And we'll read our first entry. We'll just hop on pod. Whee! Look at that. All these satellite dishes and broken bits of stuff everywhere. Right. I forgot there was 2 pods, actually, on this first one. It's been a while since I went in here. There we go. Right. First entry that we have. Okay. Is it as crazy as it was before? The Puppet's Bunker. On the operation of Yorha units. Yorha units are produced in a variety of models. Each model is distinguished by an alphabetical abbreviation indicating its area of specialization, such as B for combat optimized battle models, or S for the analytical scanner models, operating as strategists. That's right, so obviously 2B, battle unit. You get the idea. The bunker was designed as a base for exclusive use by Yorha's forces. As such, it serves as the organization's maintenance facility, as well as a site for the research and development of anti-machine life-form weaponry. That's right. Let's have a look down here then. This first boss, by the way, the first time you actually face it, the first thing I did was I walked off the edge, and so did a bunch of other people. Like, you can't walk off the edge right now, sadly, but when the boss is here, you can just straight up walk off. And our first pull on this, everyone was just like, really? Because half of us were dead, and there was no shame in hiding that, and I'm not going to apologize, okay? I wanted to test it. For some reason, I wanted to test it, and I got punished for what I did. It's so cool, isn't it, to see these massive, just chunked pieces of space station and the big orbital gravity ring thing there. And then you've got the boss that pops out of this hole like whack-a-mole. And then the individual blades and rockets and lasers and... Yes. Yes, yes. All the lasers. All the rockets. Gotta love it. It's so cool, though. It really is. And then you get this bit where you basically go, huh, just innocent sand area. And then you realize that you know, are going to fall deep within it. What I would like to know is like, did the station fall onto a base? Because how did this stuff, like this section, embed itself so deep? It's like this was a base and then the station fell onto the base. I'm not really sure if that's what happened. I mean, presumably. I love these little robots as well, like the, arms with the red and the green there, like a stop signal. Just like everything seems to be repurposed, like reflectors here on this solar panel and these solar panels that you're walking around on. It's so cool. It really is. So let's go into the actual bunker proper then, which is down here. Deep, deep down into the darkness we go. There we go. This is the hangar section. So let's read another piece of the story. Boop, boop. Okay. Copied factory still keeps loading up first. Okay. So, your high unit report number 1. There are 2 of these. I encountered a strangely evolved machine life form in Expedition territory. Not only were its constituent parts markedly distinct, it overall bore a greater resemblance to humanity than that of its brethren. And we also have the second one here. It is possible that the machine life forms can evolve in response to their circumstances. If so, we must immediately revise our combat strategy to include appropriate precautions when engaging, and we will need to probe deeper. There is still far too much about the machines that we do not know. There we go. We've also got a bunch of other stuff, and we'll read that as we go down. I mean, yes, the launch deck area. Lots of salt in the chat in the first week of this Alliance raid coming out in this area, for sure. I'm sure you remember it. It's very interesting, isn't it? And then there's like, I wondered what that was, but it's piles of sand, isn't it, that keeps falling down. I love those little details. I love them. What a fantastic, like, shaped area in this bunker. It's so cool. It really is. It really is. This hangar section with all the robots, like, it's kind of like testing like areas as well. So like factory was like the reproduction of stuff, and then this is like the testing bay with like conveyor belts and stuff. Very cool. Like fabrication units and things. And then you're just left with one option to jump down this hole. And then suddenly you're inside the actual proper space station ring, as far as I can tell. Like the command ring that you're used to seeing in the Nier games, where you go back as a base. Right, let's go through these saved machine lifeform data. Life in the factory is boring, not just for me. I see more and more of the other machines skipping shifts. We spend the time watching the combat training, though it is not our job. Is this what humanity refers to as fun? Then we have those of us who learn to have fun are trying more and more things. Some are even learning to reconstruct our own bodies. Strange. Recently I have been enjoying fishing discarded data from computers. That's is putting your body back together fun? The fact that it's apart worries me. Then we have, I found an interesting file when I was fishing for data the other day. It described the reproductive act. Oh no, here we go. Our bodies do not require these functions. What does humanity gain from them? Well, they've got to procreate with something, right? Eesh. Maybe the act of giving birth is in some way special. Maybe it is not the same as when we build more of ourselves. Do we have the capacity to give birth to anything? If we did, would it change something for us? Dangerous territory there, isn't it, in terms of the story? Whee! This is my favorite bit. Woo! I think everybody said we when we first came down here. And then you have 2B's quarters, by the way. And she's a big girl, because holy crap, that's a big bed. Can you even doze on this? No. Sadly not. You can only like sit on it or play dead. But how big is that bed? I mean, I would love a bed this size in real life, personally. It's awesome. Then you have like the personal, you know, unit stuff and then the little computer. This is like taken straight from the other game. It's so cool. It really is so cool. Is that like brushed aluminium sheets or something? Oh dear. What do you need comfort for? Oh dear. And then we have, what's next? We've got the white-garbed Yorha unit's data log. The self-consciousness data for Yorha Unit 210 was discovered on a bunker server. The operator presumably uploaded it as an emergency backup due to imminent danger. With this data, it may be possible to simulate 210's consciousness to take control of defense systems and peripherals. This file will be shared with all currently deployed units. There we go. And we've got 2 more after this. So let's progress a bit further. I do like doing this. I don't know if this is like a format you guys enjoy, just me walking around live and reading things and, I don't know, sharing my thoughts on them. I love the little corridor, how it keeps going around. And then this is one of the coolest things, isn't it? Glory to mankind. Yes. This room, the command center room. So cool. For the glory of mankind. Yes, yes. It's so cool. It really is. And then on the, what you can't hear on, presumably you can't hear it anywhere, on the ambience track is like the sound of data. Let's see if I can establish that higher for you. Is that on ambient? There you go. How cool is that? Let's keep that high, actually, because the ambience is something that I do appreciate. Like strings of data, that typical sort of stereotypical data noise that you would have, like from a Matrix or any other thing. And we've got all these computer panels, look, analyzing specific things. I'm not really sure what they're analyzing here, but I'm sure someone could work this out. Looks like mostly graphs and positions. This looks like something that they would design a raid boss with like dots on the floor, like in MS Paint or something. Maybe that's how they figured out how to do some of this stuff. Oh dear. Look, when I'm working out a fight, usually in Final Fantasy XIV, if we get really confused, we end up making like paint documents. So yeah, anyway, let's hop down here. Like so. Yes, always check your corners for more archive unit boxes. Yeah, it's very cool. And then over here, you've got these big monitors, look. You've got these pictures of the characters. It says active combatants. So again, these are the guys that appear in the cutscene, if you remember. There appears to be two left. Everything else says offline. And then we have got Moon Base, look, online. Maybe we go to the moon in a Nier raid in the future. That would be kind of cool. Proximity sensor for the combat area. Oh, that's what these graphs are. Very cool. And then there's a layout, look. Operational documentation. Cameras. What does this say? Attack by hostile aircraft is in progress. Missiles are within an air defense sector and in the immediate vicinity of air defense sector with high probability of entering the region. So we got an air defense warning. Pods are active. Look, this is so cool. Very, very cool. Proximity sensors. So it's like warning, warning, proximity. We got dudes coming in jets and they're going to come and mess our day up. Yeah, basically. So let's go into the ship itself then. There's not much you can really do in the ship once you come back in here. You can't get to the final room, sadly. So this is the alien ship. I think they did a fantastic job with this alien ship, by the way. Doesn't this look fantastic? There's obviously little hints from Geiger here and there, but for the most part, it's very, very much like, well, the alien ship from Nier, right? One of the archives is in here as well, just so you know. When you're actually hunting for these, just literally check everywhere. You'll be surprised where you find some. So this one then is the saved... No, we did this one. Saved message history. It says, regarding the laundering of standard issue attire, all clothing issued by Yorha must be turned in for washing on the appropriate day, as detailed below. Late laundry will not be accepted. Combat attire. Upon returning from deployment, accepted through the following morning. Civilian attire. Every Sunday. Leaving one's clothes on the floor will result in a reprimand. That is a really angry computer system, isn't it? I think that was from, like, when you go in 2B's room. This does look fantastic, though. Let's turn off the UI for a second and just enjoy this. So, obviously, these rooms, you have the conveyor belts, usually with the balls that keep coming towards you. I've seen a lot of people use, like, mechanics and jumping abilities and the, like, heroic leaps or whatever, just to get past this stuff. Like, leaping around, jumping around, Dragoon jumping backwards, you know, to avoid balls. But I've also seen a lot of people just face plant into balls and die instantly, which is hilarious to me. Yes. I personally want this as like a front door for the FC. That would be pretty cool. Like an alien door frame. More sliding doors, the better, really. So up here, you've pretty much got as far as we can physically go on this map. You can't go through the final door. If you want to see what's behind there, you have to go and do the instance, unfortunately. You're not able to go and chill in there, which is a real shame. But let's read the last two entries then. Or is it the last entry? Yeah, it's the last. The last entry is called Longing, and it says, suffering is born of something. Sadness is born of something. Joy is born of something. Yet I, who was born to give birth, have never known suffering, nor sadness, nor joy. From what is a soul? A true soul, not a synthetic one, really born. What a interesting tale that is. So there we go. That's all of the data logs and our little brief sort of tour of both of those instances so far. I'm really looking forward to the third one in this Alliance series. The storyline is completely bonkers in the actual story associated with it. It's nice to have all of these little like data entries. I think they kind of add a little bit to it, sort of like accompaniment. But there you go. If you've always wanted to know what they actually say, and if you could never be bothered before, like myself, then we've both achieved that today. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these. If you think they're just complete guff and they're unnecessary, or if you really enjoyed, you know, exploring the minds of the people who made this this content for you to enjoy, like Yoko Taro. But good luck sort of exploring that man's brain. It's incredibly diverse and very deep for sure. The dude's a legend. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. I really want the third one to come out as soon as possible, though. It's really, really fun, isn't it? Really fun.